It all started late one night when the little town of Springfield was drifting off into sweet dreams. And one stubborn 18-year-old girl named Sophia decided to make the most ridiculous and at the same time the boldest move of her life. Her plan sounded simple. Sing under Liam's window. Yes, that Liam, the high school senior in the baseball jacket, the one who always smiled like he knew every secret in the world. But like in the movies, simple plans have a way of turning into total chaos once reality kicks in. "Well, Sophia," she whispered to herself, gripping the guitar so tightly her knuckles turned white. "If Romeo won't come to Juliet, then Juliet's coming to him and she's bringing a song." She glanced at the houses along the street. They all looked the same. Red brick boxes with balconies that could have been twins. It was hard to tell them apart in the dark, but adrenaline and sheer determination pushed her forward. Picking the window she was sure had to be his, Sophia took a deep breath and strummed the strings. Her voice broke into the night, clear, shaky, but full of resolve. "'Cause baby, you're my wonder wall." The sound rang out way louder than she'd expected, and even she was surprised at how serious it all came out. A thought shot through her head. Wow, I could actually make it on American Idol. She sang with all her heart, with all the rawness of being in love, as if her whole future depended on this moment. And when a light finally flicked on at the balcony, her heart nearly leapt out of her chest. She could already picture Liam stepping out, scratching his head, smiling that smile, and she'd hit that last high note and claim a spot in his heart forever. The balcony door creaked open, and instead of the baseball-jacketed boy outstepped a grandpa in a checkered robe holding a steaming mug of coffee. Oh, finally I was starting to think no one in this neighborhood could sing anymore. Sophia froze as if an avalanche of embarrassment had buried her alive. I was just the words tangled somewhere in her throat. But the old man didn't give her a chance to escape. He set down his mug, cleared his throat, and out of nowhere picked up the melody. "And all the roads we have to walk are winding." His baritone rolled down the street so powerfully that neighbors started peeking out their windows. Sophia blinked like a bird that had just smacked into glass. This was awful, a disaster. And then suddenly she burst out laughing because it was absurd, ridiculous, impossible, and somehow that made it wonderful. "All right," she said, "if that's how it's going to be, a duet." And so they sang together. She with a trembling but heartfelt voice, and he with a low raspy tone so confident that soon the neighbors started clapping along. Windows swung open. Phones appeared to record the scene and someone shouted, "Hey, this is better than the park concert." Sophia's cheeks flamed red. "Great, just great. I wanted to impress Liam and now the whole neighborhood and some random grandpa is watching me. Dear Earth, please swallow me whole." And then it happened. The very thing she dreaded most. From around the corner, bathed in the glow of the street light, there he was, Liam, walking calmly, tired after practice at the gym, hands stuffed in his pockets, face in shadow. But his eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Sophia, is that you? What are you doing? Are you singing?" Her heart bounced like a rubber ball. Perfect. Just perfect. Now he's gonna think I've been serenating some old man. Meanwhile, the grandpa lifted a hand, waving Liam over like he was part of the act. "Hey Liam, we've got a show going on here. Come join us." And to Sophia's utter horror, or was it joy, Liam actually smiled and walked closer. "Well then," he said, locking eyes with her, "how about we make this a trio?" Sophia couldn't decide whether to sink into the ground or leap straight into the sky. Her plan had shattered into a million pieces, but somehow it had turned into something so much bigger. "Well, Sophia," she told herself, "you wanted to impress him with one song. Now you've got a full-blown block concert. Bravo." The courtyard buzzed like a beehive. Neighbors leaned out of their windows. Phones were everywhere, and someone had already started a TikTok live stream. Sophia's cheeks burned, not from the singing, but from the fact that her secret serenade had exploded into a full-blown neighborhood festival. The grandpa, whom Sophia had already nicknamed Mr. Bathrobe in her head, stepped up like the natural frontman. He gave Liam a nod. "Well, young man, let's hear it. You get that voice from your mama, 'cause I've always had my doubts about your dad." Liam burst out laughing, shrugged, and cautiously joined in. His voice was surprisingly soft, a little shy, but warm and easy on the ears. And just like that, Sophia's heart clenched. Seriously, you're singing with the guy you like and some random old dude. Sophia, this was your plan. The street erupted in applause. Encore! Shouted a woman from across the way, waving a frying pan like it was a concert sign. Sophia didn't even realize when she got swept up in the music. Her fingers no longer shook as they strummed with confidence. Liam stood right beside her, smiling at her in that way that made her forget how to breathe. And on the balcony, Mr. Bathrobe leaned back like a true rock star. Next song, he announced. Something upbeat before the neighbors fall asleep. And so they launched into the old classic Twist and Shout. Sophia couldn't believe she was belting it out with Liam while people actually danced on the sidewalk below. Just then, a new character appeared. The neighbor girl, about 16, who had always annoyed Sophia with her self-obsessed Instagram stories. She barreled out of the building lobby, wielding her own karaoke microphone. Where she got it so late at night was anyone's guess, and crashed right into the duo-turn trio. "This is my stage," she declared, wailing off-key, but very loudly. The crowd erupted in laughter. The grandpa rolled his eyes so theatrically it could have been in a sitcom. God, not this karaoke terror again. Sophia felt a flare of jealousy, not because the girl was singing badly, but because she'd brazenly positioned herself right next to Liam. Her shoulder even brushed his. "Stop, Sophia. This isn't a jealousy contest. This is a concert. Your concert." She slammed the strings hard, shifting the key. Liam caught on instantly, and the neighbor girl's off-key chaos was drowned in the surge of chords. She scowled and ran off, leaving the stage to the three real artists. "Nice move," Liam whispered, leaning closer. "You just musically kicked out the competition. That's almost sexy." Sophia nearly botched a chord. "Sexy? Did Liam just say that to me?" Then a new voice cut through the dark. "What's going on here?" A police officer in uniform pushed through the crowd. Instantly, everyone went quiet. Sophia felt the familiar burn of embarrassment. That's it. This is the end. They're going to shut us down. Maybe even haul us to the station. Bravo, Juliet. But the grandpa, as if he'd been waiting for this moment, shouted up to the crowd, "Oh, our new drummer has arrived." And he began pounding a rhythm on the balcony railing. The crowd erupted into laughter and cheers, and even the officer couldn't resist. He rolled his eyes and tapped out a few beats on his stomach. "Okay, one song, then everybody goes home." Sophia realized this was their final chance, the last song, their song. She looked at Liam. He met her gaze, serious, like he felt the weight of the moment too. And as she strummed the first notes of a tender ballad, he joined in with his voice. The crowd fell silent. People listened. The quiet was so intense that even the rustling of leaves seemed like accompaniment. Sophia poured everything into her singing. Her crush, her fear, her embarrassment, her laughter, and the sheer madness of the evening. And when the song ended, the applause exploded. But she was looking only at him, at Liam. And when he leaned closer and whispered, "Now I'll definitely never forget this night," Sophia realized, even if no one else had clapped, that would have been enough. The neighborhood quieted as suddenly as it had erupted. People still laughed, chatted near the building entrances. Some were still scrolling through videos on their phones, but the adrenaline wave was fading. The police officer, satisfied with his drum solo, waved and drove off, leaving behind only a brief, "Good night, rock stars." Sophia stood holding her guitar like a shield after battle. Her heart was still pounding, but now, not from fear, but from what had just happened. "Well," croaked the grandpa in his robe, adjusting his glasses. "Not bad for a first concert. Haven't had this many fans in a long time." He bowed theatrically, and someone on the balcony actually tossed him an apple. "Oh, no oranges. Well, fine. This will do," he muttered, catching his prize. "That's enough for today. I'm going to bed. You kids, finish the final scene yourselves." And winking at Sophia in a way that nearly made her choke from surprise, he disappeared into his apartment. Silence settled. Only Liam remained beside her. that same easy smile on his face that made everything inside Sophia melt. You do know that all of Springfield just saw you singing to my grandpa. To your grandpa? Sophia's jaw dropped. You're kidding me. Not kidding, he laughed. That was Mr. Harrison. My granddad lives one floor down. Sophia covered her face with her hands. Well, at least now you're officially in Harrison's favorites, he teased. That's worth a lot. They laughed in unison, and the laughter melted the last of the tension, leaving only warmth. But seriously, he moved closer, so close she could feel it. That was amazing. I didn't even know you could sing like that. Sophia felt her throat dry up. I didn't even know I could perform like that in front of half the town. In front of half the town? My grandpa and me? He clarified, leaning in closer. But the main thing in front of me, her heart.